Hello and welcome to the Bearcats Den with President Taylor. My name is Ivy Taylor and I'm your host. For today's show, we have several very special guests, some of our Rust College student leaders. Our first guest is Mr. Eric Johnson, who is president of our Student Government Association. He's a senior majoring in mass communications from St. Louis, Missouri, and he is a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, the National Association of Black Journalists, and our United Negro College Fund Pre-Alumni Council. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Taylor.
Well, congratulations on your recent win in the student government elections. Tell me about your experience in student government here at Rust College.
Yeah, so it started, I like to say, on a nice summer day, freshman class elections, my freshman year. We had freshman class speeches, and I was running for freshman class president. Unfortunately, on that day, I lost, but it really started a journey of, even though I lost, be strong and keep on the road of being strong and wanting to continue to being great. So, sophomore year, run for sophomore class, being elected the sophomore class chief of staff. My junior year, decided not to run and focusing more on external organizations on campus, like the Pre-Alumni Council, and deciding to bring resources from outside of Rust here to share with the students. And me deciding with everything going on that I think it'd be a good chance for me to run and be of service to the student body.
Wonderful. Well, that's very interesting to hear that you weren't successful in your first run, but that didn't turn you off at all from continuing to run and continuing to be of service. Well, tell us, what are some of your goals, things you'd like to accomplish as Student Government Association president this year?
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a transitional candidate, someone who not really trying to have an agenda for myself, but helping the student body getting ready for a new era here at Rust College, working with you, trying to build the bridge between the students and the staff, hearing the concerns on both sides, trying my best to facilitate a good conversation and allowing the student body to feel excited but at ease as well with everything going on.
Well, that's very admirable, and I certainly appreciate it. I've been describing this year as a year of transition to the employees and students here, so I appreciate your willingness to help me with that transition. Will you tell us a little more about your experience as a student here at Rust College?
Yeah, sure. So really, when I first came to Rust, it was the decision to play soccer in college or come to Rust College. I'll say, I don't really have that much patience. So unfortunately, my official visit got canceled to reschedule for a week later, and I was kind of upset. So I told the coach, I don't really want to come to school there. And I said, I'm gonna go to Rust College. It's in the middle between my hometown that I was born in, Columbus, Mississippi, and St. Louis. So, both sides of my family being in the middle of them, being easier to see the side in Mississippi, I thought would be something that was good. A spur of the moment decision, but I said, this is the decision I made, so I'll make this the right decision. Came here really excited. My name's Eric Johnson when I first got here. So it rubbed some people the wrong way when I first got here. So, learning the skills of, being personable, building rapport with people, really got me excited about my potential, that I know that I have the passion. But if I learn the human aspect of it, then I can really make a difference. So here at Rust, I really learned that, being humble, working hard, and knowing when you get knocked down, get back up.
Okay. Well, I understand that you are majoring in mass communications. Tell us about your interests in that area. You were just commenting that it's strange to be on this side of the camera. Tell us about your experience with mass communications.
Yeah, so when I was younger, much younger, I used to get in trouble a lot at home. So my parents would take away the phone and the video games. But one thing they allowed me to do is listen to radio. And I'm a huge sports fan. So I used to do all the fantasy sports, talk about sports all the time. And one thing I would do when I get home was I would listen to the local ESPN station, and I would listen to the basketball games. That's when St. Louis University was really good at college basketball. So I'll hear the games. I knew all the broadcasters. I knew the schedule for the whole day. So when I get home, I throw a bottle of noodles, well, a bowl of noodles in the microwave and turn on the radio. And when I came to Rust, I decided, even though I'm interested in business, I think this would be something that will help me in my hobbies, but also in my personal life.
So do you think long term you'd be interested in a career in radio specifically?
No, I think that my interest in liberating the human heart has taken over a little bit, and that me wanting to go into something a little bit more dealing with public service would be something that I want to do in my career.
Okay. One of the things that I neglected to mention while I was introducing you is that you were recently named a 2020 White House HBCU Competitiveness Scholar. Congratulations. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the White House Initiative on HBCUs really allows the White House to deep into the history of historically black colleges and knowing how can they help the students there and give them opportunities to, hear their voice and give them opportunities. So I had the opportunity to speak with officers from different departments and opportunities, internships, and career opportunities too. So going through that, learning life skills from the programs they offer. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go to the Capitol this year to be part of the week, but I have been to DC before. It's a really beautiful city. And just learning a lot about public service, something I'm interested in going into, and trying to pick the brains of people who already work in there.
Will there be some sort of virtual gathering of the scholars?
Yes, it will be. I think it's something that's to be a learning curve to enjoy that experience, but also do think it will add value in some way.
I hope you'll take advantage of the opportunity to connect with some of the scholars at other schools. Have you had a chance to speak with any of them yet?
Yeah, so fortunately, I know a handful of scholars before.
Okay.
So, I have relationships with them, other programs, traveling. So I do know a handful of them, and I have connected with some more additionally.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. So what are some other things you're looking forward to during your senior year here at Rust?
I think about just enjoying the journey. Applying for grad schools, also trying to look for full-time opportunities. I think that I'm not sure what's going to happen yet, but I'm excited to apply for the challenging positions, applying for the highest prestigious programs, reaching for the stars and hoping that something comes about, which I don't know what's exactly going to happen, but testing myself, testing the waters, and putting myself out there to fail, but fail hard.
Wonderful. Well, you and I have talked a little bit about the applications. Will you share with the audience some of the programs that you're interested in considering?
So during the summer, I originally had 15 programs, grad programs I was interested in. I narrowed it down to 3. I'll be applying to Columbia University Nonprofit Management, NYU Public Nonprofit Management and Policy, and then last but not least, North Carolina A&T, an MBA program. I want to include an HBCU in there just because of my experience here so far. But also try to apply to some of the more prestigious schools the United States has to offer.
Well, those are some wonderful choices. I can tell you a little bit about both New York and North Carolina, as I've lived in both places. I grew up in New York. It's an expensive place to be in graduate school. So should you get into those programs, I hope they give you some great aid. I had a fellowship, but I ended up going to graduate school in North Carolina at Chapel Hill. But of course, North Carolina A&T is a great choice as well. What was the program at North Carolina A&T again?
A Master's in Business Administration.
Oh, Master's in Business Administration. Okay. Well, it seems that you will have excellent preparation with the foundation that you've gained here at Rust and all the student leadership experience that you've gained. And once you combine that with your graduate degree, you'll be ready to conquer the world. Okay. Well, I would like to thank you so much, Eric. Is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience before we take a break?
I would say just to, go after your passions, You know, even though if you don't have the resources, you know, that's not an excuse to not try.
There you go, and your life is a perfect example of that. Thank you so much. We will take a short break and we'll be right back with more student leaders here at Rust College. And now we'll hear from the world-famous Rust College a cappella choir under the direction of Dr. Arlandra Harvey.
If ye love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and He shall give you another comforter, that He may abide with you forever, that He may abide with you forever, in the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of truth, in the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of truth, that He may abide with you forever, that He may abide with you forever, in the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of truth, in the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of truth.
Welcome back to the Bearcats Den with President Taylor. I'm Ivy Taylor, your host. On today's show, we are featuring student leaders here at Rust College. I'm very excited to welcome Mr. Rust College for 2020 and Miss Rust College for 2020. Miss Rust College is Hope Scruggs, who is a senior math major and also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And Mr. Rust College, Cameron Michael Wilson, is a native of Columbus, Mississippi, and he is also a senior mass communications major and a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Welcome, Miss Rust and Mr. Rust.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to you both on your recent successful wins
Thank you so
in the competition. Will you tell us a little bit about your campaigns? We'll start with Ms. Rust.
My campaign focused on being a queen no matter any circumstance, no matter who you are, no matter where you came from, and no matter what anyone has told you. So my campaign really steered basically off of that, just all together, anyone can be a queen, and let's just queen together. Let's all be queens.
Wonderful. Okay, Cameron, Mr. Rust, tell us about your campaign's focus.
My campaign's focus was more so connecting the students to the administration. I know how important it is that students feel that they are heard, so that was my main platform. Make sure students will be heard, events that they want to have, and just make sure that's really the biggest thing, is make sure that they feel heard.
Okay, well, let's follow up on that. Tell me about your goals, what you plan to accomplish during your time of service as Mr. Rust College.
Okay, well, one of my biggest things that I want to focus on is events that the students may want to have. What do the students want to see on campus or see for the campus? Getting their input, and then making sure that me being the representative for the college, that I reach out to the administration, faculty, and other student government association officers, and make sure that we're all on the same accord to make it happen the best way that we can. So that's one of our main focuses.
Thank you. And Hope, what do you plan to accomplish?
For me personally, I plan to accomplish 100% attendance, if I may, because we do have 100% hybrid students. So I want to make sure that they're involved as well as the students on campus. I want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and off campus. Everybody is heard on and off campus, and everybody knows that they're still here. Even if they're not physically here, they're still here. They're still a part of our family, and I want them to know that we're definitely here for you as well.
That's a very important point that you just made, that due to the current pandemic that's going on, the school year and the experience looks a little bit different for you all as students, and that some students are on campus and some are off campus, and students are experiencing instruction in a variety of ways. Will you tell us what the transition has been like for you thus far? I know you are both on campus.
Yes. Well, the transition for on campus, I can definitely say it was different, as wearing our masks and staying 6 feet is now becoming a normal. You know, instead of, you know, always playing with your friends and always being around your friends, you have to change some of those things and, you know, modify how you do some things. So it was pretty hard, and, you know, having to get to know more about the virtual and how I can, you know, reach out to people virtually instead of in person. You know, it became a challenge, but I think we're pushing through as well as we possibly can.
Okay, thank you. Well said. Cameron, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, for me it was the most difficult because I'm more so of a social butterfly, so I'm used to, I like the college experience, getting to go around, speak to my friends, go sit in the plaza, and a big group of people come out and have fun and just hang out. So that was the biggest, I would say, transition for me, is being around, you know, that large group of people, or going around a lot of people. Now it's more so maybe a select few, if that, because I mean, safety is, you know, key to make sure everybody is healthy. So that was really the biggest transition for me.
Okay. Well, being that both of you are seniors, you've had the benefit of 3 years of time here at Rust College before the COVID crisis. So will you talk to us about what your experience has been like at Rust? Hope.
For me personally, my experience has been wonderful. Going through classes, from the transition from high school to college, it was kind of hard, kind of difficult getting to know how I would carry myself without my mother around, how I would, you know, move along without my mother around, keep pushing without my mother around, or without my immediate family around. And I think that's one of the reasons why I chose Rust as well, because I needed to know that. I needed to know who I was without them. I needed to know what I would be without them. So it was definitely a challenge, but Rust helped me in a lot of ways with the family vibes that we give off here. And I definitely appreciate Rust in so many ways, because I feel like I can go on and I can be that adult that I need to be.
Wonderful. Well, what about you, Cameron?
I would say that my transition from high school to college was fairly easy due to my parents. My parents, they since the beginning of my education, they were raising me, hey, you're gonna go through these 12 years of grade school, and then you're gonna go to college, get your degree. So I've already been trained to make sure that my transition wasn't hard, and I thank my parents for that. It's been a great 4 years, and 3 years ahead, I've, you know, been active on campus. I've been active in leadership, and, you know, staying on top of my grades, keeping my GPA very high, maintaining my scholarship and everything. So it's been a great experience for me, just learning and growing within myself. But I do thank my parents again for helping that transition be smoother by preparing me, giving me the extra step and the extra hand to make sure that, you know, this is what you have to do as an adult for yourself, and this is how you will have to grow. So that's how my experience was.
I'm sure your parents will appreciate that shout out. Well, let's talk a little more about your academic experience, and I'll start with you, Cameron. Just a few moments ago, you were behind the camera here. You're a mass communications major. Will you tell us how you became interested in that?
It's actually a funny story. So when I first came to Rust College, I started off as a sociology major. I was interested in sociology, the major, and the jobs that came with it at first. And as I went through, I say no more than maybe the second module, I was like, I thought this is what I wanted, but it isn't. So one day I went to an event. I don't remember the title of the event. It was a church event where they invited several pastors around the Holly Springs community to come and just, you know, give a word and introduce their church and their choirs and things. So in the middle of that program, one of the pastors come down and he says, it seems like you're struggling with something. And I was like, you know, maybe how would this, you know, man know exactly what I'm struggling
Yes.
with? And he was like, do you know what you really want to major in when you get here? And that had been something that I've been praying on, you know, the first 2 modules. Is this what I want to do? I'm not feeling it. This is exactly what I want to do. What is my plan, God? What is my plan? And he was like, just be patient. I'll let it be known when it's time. And when he was talking to me, he was like, you need to communicate to the masses. And that's crazy because I served as Mr. Freshman Rust College my freshman year, so that's what I did. I served as a representative, talking, moving, and that's what my passion was. So when he said that, I said, I'm going to go talk to the mass communications department, see what their major is, see what the coursework is like, and see would that be, you know, a viable solution for me, and would it work? So I came up, I spoke with Miss Sharon White up in the department, and she just questioned me, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? And I told her my honest truth. And then from there, they accepted me into the mass communications family. I began working, studying, and getting the classes done, and it's just been a great ride ever since.
Oh, that's wonderful. Great testimony. Well, Hope, I'm very curious on your major, math. That's not a path that a lot of people choose to follow, so tell us about your interest in math.
Well, my interest in math started in the 4th grade. I knew then that there was no type of math that could beat me. I just knew that no teacher could challenge me in any type of way till I got to 4th grade. 4th grade, I just thought the world was going to end. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I pushed through at the time where I thought my favorite subject was going to be my worst favorite. So once I pushed through, I had some teachers that even advanced me to understand that, you know, math isn't horrible. It isn't the last thing. This isn't the last thing you're going to see from math. You're going to go on. It's going to get harder, just as life is going to get harder. So I took math and I ran with it, and it became my first love. Then teaching became my first love in the 5th grade once I met my social studies teacher. She taught us in a different way than just going by curriculum or just going by what the workshops taught her. She taught us in a way that we understood. She broke it down for us. So my 4th grade is where math became my best friend, and 5th grade is where teaching became my best friend as well. So I've just been running with those ever since, because after staying here with my mathematics degree, I do want to go on to be a high school teacher or a college professor. So I definitely took math and I ran with it, and I just loved it ever since. So, but my academic getting here, I think being here at Rust challenged me, but it challenged me in a good way because at school, in high school, I was very social, senior class president, beta club president, National Honor Society president. So it was a lot of stuff I was in. And when I came here, I didn't think it was going to be any different from high school. Not knowing that, Hope, you're not from Mississippi, not knowing that, Hope, you really don't know Rust at all. But I had to understand it and I had to get to know it. So once I got here, I did run for certain positions and I didn't get those positions, but with me not getting those positions, I didn't let it dwell on me. I still got up and I still got other executive board memberships and, you know, joined different more clubs and organizations, which definitely helped me with my transition here.
Okay.
So
Wonderful. So are you planning on pursuing a master's degree in math, or are you looking to get in the classroom when you finish Rust?
when I finish Rust, I do plan to get into the classroom as a high school mathematics teacher, but I also plan on going back to either get my master's in mathematics or a secondary education.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And what about you, Mr. Rust? What do you plan to do when you finish here?
Okay, as of now, I have 2 plans.
All right.
And I haven't solely decided on which one I want to take yet.
Okay.
My first plan is to go to the United States Air Force using my bachelor's degree and go in as an officer. The position I want to work for, I want to be a public affairs officer. So
Okay.
it'd be a great transition coming from using my mass communications degree here to using it to speak to others and represent others in the military. That's my first plan. My second plan is to get my master's in business administration at the University of Mississippi. So those are my 2 plans as of now.
Okay, well, those sound like some wonderful plans. I could certainly provide whatever insight I can related to plan number 1, having come from a city where the military played a big role, and I interacted with folks who did the type of work that you talked about. But I must say that the 2 of you are very, very impressive, and certainly I know will represent Rust College well during your year of service as Miss Rust and Mr. Rust. And I wish you all the best as you finish up your Rust College career, and I thank you for your service to this institution.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Yes,
much.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that wraps up our show for today. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Bearcats Den with President Taylor.